I mean, wow. When you take a look at these, you say, yep, you have to have a lot of respect when Saturn and Pluto get together.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line is that things have gotten out of hand. There is corruption in high places, like in the First World War, and we have to change the system.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutamente. So here is the chart of the U.S., born on the 4th of July. And there are different charts that people use. This is the one I've been using for probably maybe 25, 30 years. And it all goes back to when they had the Continental Congress and the colonists were getting together. And when they wrote their Declaration of Independence, that was the birth chart. Okay. And so, and again, kind of a debate, you know, exactly when did they write it? And there's a couple of different charts out there. I've been using this particular one. I actually found 2 different books, not connected to astrology, but some historians who said that it was a little bit after 2 in the afternoon when they signed the Declaration. And so that's pretty good. That's pretty close to me. Anyway, here we have now, again, a horoscope. And it's the 4th of July, so it's a Cancer country. And here is the sun up here in the 9th house. And it's got Jupiter up here. Here's Venus also in Cancer. Here's Mercury in Cancer. And these are a lot of the focus points of this nation, of an expansive, lucky nation, 9th house, you know, international, big, and it became, you know, starting from the colonies, it became a very big nation. It's huge. With, of course, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and various things. Those are 9th house things. Remember, I was talking about law, legalities, and so forth, you know, things that it stands on right there. The moon in our chart representing the people is down here in Aquarius in the 4th house. It was right next to Pallas Athena, also in Aquarius. And this represents kind of like that can-do attitude that Americans are really known for. Industrious, kind of inventive. It's a air sign, Aquarian way of, here's an issue, here's a problem, how can we fix it? How can we make it better? How can we improve it? And indeed, that's very much a classic kind of American trait. But what I want to really pay attention to right here is that we have the Scorpio rising, and that's at 8 degrees. And every sign is connected to a planet which is called the ruler. As you know, with Cancer, the ruler is the moon. With Aries, the ruler is Mars. With Scorpio, the ruler is Pluto. So Pluto is the ruler of the chart of the United States. And we find Pluto down here in the 3rd house, 27 degrees, 33 minutes. And as I said, within a year or two, we're going to have a Pluto return. Pluto has gone all the way around the zodiac and it's going back to where it was in 1776.
How many years you said?
248.
Jeez.
But again, paying attention to that 27.5 degrees. And then we take a look at this Saturn-Pluto alignment in Washington, D.C. And what was that very top of the point? That was the midheaven, exactly when they aligned. And here we have 27.5 degrees Capricorn. Right there, exactly when those 2 planets came together last January. And so it exactly aligns with the Pluto in the natal chart, in the birth chart of the United States. So basically, the Pluto return has already started. and it has revolutionary tendencies, and all of the demonstrations and the crisis, physical crisis, it's all starting now, and it shall continue for a couple of years. What's happening also right now, and this is when things get very precise, planet Uranus moves about 7 years in every sign. It takes 84 years to go around the zodiac. So back in 1776, here's Uranus in Gemini, and Gemini is yet another sign of duality, like Cancer is a dual sign. Gemini is a dual sign, and we've got Mars and Uranus in this dual sign. And it basically says that this planet, this this nation is split. Boom. It's always been split. It shows up, split, from the very beginning. Even in the Declaration, all men are created equal, and they had slaves. So it's always been like an issue that needs to be fixed, from the very beginning. Anyway, I mentioned that when Uranus was discovered, 1781, it was a revolutionary point between the American and the French revolutions. It takes 84 years to go around the zodiac. And so they had their revolution here, with the beginning of the US. 84 years later, Uranus goes right over here back to where it was at the beginning, and we had the Civil War. It's split again between the North and the South, the Confederates and the Union, and I find that very interesting, right on cue. I mentioned that because right now, the planet Uranus is 8 degrees Taurus, right there, right opposite the ascendant. And it was exact on May 24th. On May 25th, George Floyd was killed.
What?
It is so exact. And so this revolutionary planet right here on the descendant of the US chart, having all of its energy, revolutionary energy, it aligns with minorities, with fringe groups, with radicals, with revolutionaries, with freedom fighters. It represents all of that, and it is right there fighting that Scorpio rising of the US chart right now.
It's so amazing how everything aligns to not only when they say history repeats itself, but if you look at astrology, everything does repeat itself. And if you follow astrology, you can actually pinpoint when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it did happen. It's amazing.
Exactly. Fascinating, huh? Well, Uranus, like many of the planets, it goes forward and then it has a retrograde phase. So right now it is going, forward, and said here, the end of May, here we are in June, it was exactly at this point, and kaboom. I mean, look at the news. Okay. So then in August coming up, it turns retrograde and it goes back. And in November, it's going to be again at that very same point at 8 degrees Taurus.
Wow.
The general election.
Oh, wow. You okay, Bubba?
Kaboom. Do not expect a smooth count. Do not expect peace and fairness. There is going to be some, let's say, skullduggery. There's going to be some suppression of votes. There's going to be some backhanded things because Pluto's still involved.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a reaction to that. And there is going to be probably a lot of unrest before and after the election.
Yep.
That's the cosmic news.
Well, I sure will contact you.
And
Well,
that's how you contact me, right on time.
Look at that.
So again, this was a big tour de force. It was a big overview, lots of different things to share with you. And
You did awesome. Thank you. There was
questions
a
about
lot of
anything?
information that you gave us. It was awesome. It was great. I learned a lot of things. What you
Excellent.
did.
Great. Glad.